Hello, and welcome to episode 190 of Checkpoint Chat. My name is Alessandro Barbosa. I'm joined by the brave Matthew Figuera. Brave, I don't know why.
Why? Because it's cold.
What came up. Yeah, you're braving the cold. I mean, you don't have a choice. That's what it is.
Nose.
Like, yeah. You don't have a choice. The cold is the cold. You can't really escape it currently.
You know, we're recording in the morning on this fresh Saturday. We've had a whole night full of rain.
You'd be forgiven for thinking it's not morning, given the fucking darkness outside. Like,
why is it raining in June in Johannesburg?
Never in my life have I seen this. Never.
So I climbed out of bed last night. It's like, I'm not tired. I'm going to go play some stuff. Set up my PC, actual thunderstorm just attacks the house. I'm like, where did this come from?
Where did this come from? Yeah.
Although it did hint, it was hinting the whole evening. So Lenska and I went to my mom for supper last night, and just on the horizon, constant lightning, and it was weird. It felt a bit like summer. It's like, what's going on here? It's just lightning.
Yeah, like it's not just like a splash of rain. It's like a full on thunderstorm.
No, this was a thunderstorm. There's lightning hitting around my house. It's me dropping spicy in Fortnite, living my best. But yeah, it's weird. But
you only drop spicy in Fortnite in summer. We all know this. So it's not just the seasons that are off.
But I'm not complaining, because if you're not a listener based in Johannesburg, or you've not been in Johannesburg in winter, it is the worst because it doesn't rain normally and it is very dry. The air is super dry. Your skin gets dry. It's just the worst.
But what's weird to me is that it still feels dry.
It does.
It still feels extremely dry.
Yeah, it's a thing I've noticed in summer, because I struggle with hay fever and a whole lot of stuff. It takes a few rains before, the air gets moisturized, as the scientists say.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely what they say. The air gets moisturized. There's a moisture level to the air. Should come up with a name for it.
I'm sure they have.
Yeah, maybe, we could be on the forefront of that. But yeah, I mean, this morning, like, my face feels so like dry, and it's like it rained last night. It's still wet outside. So what is going on?
You got to cream that face,
humidity?
man.
In winter, you you can feel, you put that moisturizer on and your skin just goes.
That's exactly what I said to Lens, because the other day I was like, I'm creaming my body. I don't care. I'm fucking itchy.
It's just drinking
put
it in.
Cream on. And I said, this is what my skin's doing.
It's like when you've gone for a run and you have that glass of water and you just don't stop drinking. That's your skin in winter. Just like, give me more, please.
The moisturizing juice.
Getting out of shower and feeling itchy is just the fucking worst. I hate it so much.
Here's something I do, which is not good for my skin. Have you know that when you're itchy, if you put hot water on your itchy skin, you get the satisfying feeling. It's not just me, right? You put that water super hot and it's like, that's so nice.
I come out of the shower and I'm red, and Sean is like, what happened? With you?
Yeah, very bad for your skin, but at the time it just feels so great.
It's probably just drying it out even more.
No,
you're like
100%.
first degree fucking burning this thing. Like,
but I don't know, at the time it just feels really good. I'm like, hotter.
Your skin's screaming out in pain and you just like die.
And then I climb out, I'm like, damn, I'm so itchy. What's going on?
How dare my skin betray me like this?
I was just in the shower. I just moisturized your skin with water.
Yeah, fucking ungrateful piece of skin. Jesus.
Sure, canvas skin. Yeah, but
it's true.
The dry air is the worst. I always look forward to the rains down on Africa, aka Johannesburg, in September.
Well, we've passed the
we're going
the solstice.
That's it. Yeah, I think it's the 21st or 22nd of June. So we're actually on our way back to longer days, which is fantastic.
I mean, that's all I want, because the fact that it can be like 5:45 and it's pitch dark, I fucking hate it. It's so depressing.
I must say this season I've been bad, because normally I run in the mornings, first thing in the morning. But this year, it's been a thing of I run when I get up on the weekends, or I just run at lunch or in the afternoon, because it's a lot warmer. Yeah. But I remember getting up in winter last year and the year before and just dying. I mean, the only time I got up early to run this season was when we did the
Oh, that race.
The Gerald Fox
Yeah.
race. Yeah. And that was a reality check of this is why I don't get up this early anymore, because
that was
cold.
Damn cold. And that was like not even like early. That race started
like
at
seven,
what, 7?
Yeah.
Like, what the hell, man? Like, and it was freezing cold. And I'm still laughing at the people there at the start line who were there in like, I mean, shorts is one thing. Sure, fine, shorts. But in the little like sleeveless running shirts, and they're sitting there with like their hands underneath their armpits and they're shaking. They are dying. And I'm just like, what is wrong with you?
You see,
no gloves, nothing.
I run with shorts happily because when I run 1K and I don't feel the cold, whatever. But I'm at least smart enough to put a jacket on that I'll just take off and tie around my waist. It doesn't bother me, keeps me warm.
That's exactly what I did. I run with shorts, but I have those like running tights because those help quite a bit. But yeah, I had a jacket and just took it off. I had gloves. I ended up taking those off like halfway through the race because my hands were on fire. But yeah, I don't want to be uncomfortable while I'm waiting there for half an hour while these people like set up the start. Fuck that noise.
Yeah.
It's a prime way to get sick.
Yeah.
Do you also have it in your office where they just blast hot air?
So it's better now. Before, so we're in a much bigger building now, but previously in the office wasn't much smaller. I think we had fewer staff, but it was still, say, 100 people on one open plan floor. So that aircon would get blasted and sickness would just travel. You could track. It's like, oh, this team's got the flu. Oh, well, I guess the team next to them is, going to be sick next week. And there was one year where flu just wiped out the whole office. There were more people at home than there were at the office, it felt like. But at least now we're in a bigger building where we sort of, separated by teams. There's more space, so we can at least dictate what we want our aircon to be in our little room, in our area.
Okay, I see.
Whereas before it was one single office, you'd have people fighting over aircon remotes. Like, it's cold, no, it's hot, put it on. So yeah, we'd keep that place toasty, and obviously that just breeded flu or whatever was going around at the time.
You see, we have a fairly big space, but it's kept at a like constant temperature, but that constant temperature is way too fucking hot. Like,
I know
it is like you get into the office and need to take off your hoodie, and I'm like, I don't want to do this.
No, that would be the old office. You'd walk in and it would feel like just hot air everywhere. Yeah.
And it just makes you sleepy.
It does.
I find you just want to be like, and then if you take off your hoodie, then you walk out to the bathrooms and it's frigid. So it's like, what are we even doing here?
Walk back out, put your hoodie on, walk back to the bathroom. Yeah.
Prime sickness. Get down with the sickness. Get down with the games. This chick when chat would talk about video games. Things are getting, I wouldn't say busy. Like, it's not like prime AAA space stuff, but there is new stuff to play. Like
stuff, yeah. Got stuff to
we got about. That new Fire Emblems 3 Hopes on Nintendo Switch that we got yesterday, so I haven't really put time into it. So
we got some Sonic Origins. I can tell you I've played the original Sonic. It's cool. But I've not
the original Sonic. Still good. Yeah.
I've not played Sonic Origins, which is basically a collection of the first 3.
I think it's the first 3 and then CD, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yes. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I need to still need to take that.
Did you ever play Sonic Mania?
No. But I heard that was really
Sonic
good.
Mania is good. Sonic Mania is real good. Should give that a go. And yeah, there's like, I've got Formula 1 to play as well.
Oh, my.
Love that Formula 1. But yeah, so this past week has been kind of like prepping for those things. But this past week, I just spent more time with
get out
with Elden Ring. Oh damn, who knew? Who would have guessed? We were actually chatting.
Yeah,
we were chatting a lot about it before the show, so we don't have to burden you with all these minute details about this game that we're speaking about for 5 months now.
I think the last time we spoke about a game this much, and it wasn't even 5 months, was Final Fantasy VII Remake. Felt like it was just week after week after week of this.
But even that really felt a bit delayed because like you played it and then it took me like a year to get to it. Yeah. And then we just reignited that conversation.
Yeah, but it's like you timed it where I spent months with Elden Ring and now you've gone, well, I'm going to get into it.
Yeah, essentially. So yeah, I'm still having a great time with it. I'm starting to get that feeling of like I'm just exploring and finding things. And I don't have the same sort of like stress over am I missing things? I'm just enjoying the finding portion.
I think you have to make peace with unless you look up a guide, you are going to miss stuff, and that's normal. I mean, do you play every RPG open world game you play? Do you OCD check off everything on the map? Because that's
I try not to, because that just bums me out after a while.
Yeah, because then Elden Ring's the same thing, just there's no map markers. So just explore organically and do your thing. You'll have a good time.
I think I've started like getting into that routine as opposed to like I need to find every little... at the beginning it was good that I did do that because I found things like the Southern Peninsula in the beginning of the game, which I really didn't know was there until I actually spoke to you and people on Discord, and they were like, "Now you should go look more before you try and go into Stormvale and stuff like that." So yeah, there's definitely value in like re-looking at places you think you've already seen, but I'm not going to run against fucking cliff faces forever now to look for one little entrance into a lair. Yeah, it's just not worth it. So, but I'm having a good time. I'm at the for anyone who's played, I'm at the spot where there's big hands that are like spiders, and I just hate my life. It really sucks, and I hate those enemies so much.
Manor,
Carrion Manor. Yeah, it's horrible. I fucking hate it.
It's a bad time.
Jesus.
Do you ever get snatched by one just running over it?
Oh yeah, tons of times. Worst. Even the big ones didn't realize they're on the floor. So I do not enjoy them.
I need to look this up, but there's an area much later in the game that so I finished, on Elden Ring train. I platinumed Elden Ring this week. Thank you. It's done.
Yes, congrats.
Finished my 3 playthroughs. On my second and third playthrough though, there's one part of like a late game area where I knew I hadn't really explored. So I just ran there this time because I was like, I haven't been here. And I need to look it up, but I think there was one of those giant hands, not a boss, but like bigger than the ones you found in the Carrion Manor. I just noped out of there. I was like, bah.
Bigger.
Yeah. But I forgot to look it up. But you talking about it now reminded me. I need to go look up. Is there a giant
I wonder if there's a boss
or...
that is like exactly like a giant hand boss. Like almost like the what are they? The amygdalas in Bloodborne. Like you see a bunch of them.
Yeah.
But you fight one as a boss.
Only one, yeah. I don't know. I'll look it up. I don't think it was a boss, but I just saw it and was like, nope. I just turned around and
not going to deal with this. Yeah. I've also come to peace with that. Like, I thought, because this is the From Software thing, it's like, which is not actually true, but the idea is that you need to beat all of the enemies
to get
towards the boss. But in Dark Souls, I found many ways to not do that because there were many enemies in there that just fucking pissed me off. So I found ways around them. And Elden Ring just empowers you to do that more. Like the number of times I've used my horse to get into the middle of a bunch of giant lobsters, grab the smithing stone that they're protecting, and just yeet out of there. Yeah. I'm not going to endanger myself for very little reward. So, which is part of I think the really smart thing about the design is that you kind of have to make a decision for yourself what's worth fighting and what's not, because there straight up are fights where they are hard and they are potentially very lethal and they are not worth the reward you get. And 100% those lobsters and I think the Revenant fights fall under that. They are just not worth your time.
To see a Revenant, you just do a 180.
I fucking run. I do not even care anymore. Those things instant, like, same with those big ass bears as well. They're just like instantly kill me.
The bears are one of the hardest enemies in the game.
They just, like, I'm on my horse and the thing like jumps at me and I'm dead, like straight away. I'm like, there's no way I can fight this thing. So, but then it's interesting that those are like littered around areas where like the academy entrance grounds have those, they look like little fish boys with big eyes. I do not like how they look. Not a fan of them.
Let me just interject and say you get a helmet that lets you look like a fish boy with those big eyes.
Oh,
and it
really?
makes me laugh every time I put it on.
I want it now. Yeah. I absolutely want that now.
Love it.
I love how they do cartwheels to attack me. It's very fun. And they can hit hard, but at the same time, like I can take on groups of 2, 3, 4 at a time, no problem. But then if I walk just fucking like 50 meters to the north of them, I get whacked with this insta-kill bear. And then hands. Yeah, I get shown hands, you know. So it's cool that the world is like, it's not like this is an area that you are leveled up for perfectly. And if I move over here, then this part of the world is not ready for me. It's sort of like, it's always a mix.
Yeah.
Like you kind of got to find your way around there and figure out how to navigate through according to how powerful you are. So
exactly.
It's a good time. Who would have known? This game still continues to be really good. Just far fewer boss fights than I thought there would be at this point in the game. But I think that will change.
Yeah, and also, I mean, so there are main boss fights that you have to do compulsory, but a lot of bosses are tied to, you know, the mines or caverns or lairs, whatever. And because the game's so big, you will find, I mean, one of my criticisms of the game, and I think a lot of people have criticized that, you'll end up fighting duplicate bosses. Which,
I've already fought some.
Yeah, which is like, I get it, but I'm also like, but, you know, you could have arguably had fewer things, you know, fewer layers, or made more bosses. And even saying that, it's like they put a lot of bosses into this game.
I mean, to me, what the lair bosses feel like are almost like the random hunters you would encounter in Bloodborne.
No, exactly.
They're not boss fights. They're much harder fights, but they don't have that climatic feel of when you're facing Margit or
Godric.
Yeah. Godric the Graph.
Yeah, you got to get used to these G names and the M names.
Yeah, I think I said Godfrey earlier in the week, and that's a whole other person. So, yeah. So, like, I think I'm missing those big climatic boss fights. Like, I've fought a lot of smaller ones already, for sure. But, like, they don't feel the same. And I don't think they're designed to feel the same because there's just no way you can have that many bosses in the game that feel that good. So, but it's still good. It's still a great time. What was the other thing I played? Oh, yeah. So last weekend, I spoke briefly about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. I think at that point, I'd already played like 30 minutes or so. I ended up finishing the game. It's not that long. It's like 2 and a bit hours.
Nice.
That game is fucking cool, man.
Yeah,
I like that game a lot. So if you're young like me, you probably haven't played the games that it's inspired from. I think it was the Nintendo. I think it was the NES. Actually, let me look this up. But it was definitely NES. A game called TMNT Turtles in Time. Turtles in Time.
Maybe it was SNES. I don't know.
This was the Super NES. Okay. So this was like this is kind of what this game is inspired by. Is, you know, the left to right arcade fighter. It even does the thing where in Turtles in Time you had a move where you could throw foot soldiers towards the screen, and it would use the SNES, you know, Mode 7 chip that kind of like
your
faked 3D stuff. To make it look 3D. They even do that. So it's just really cool. It's very clever. In the way that they've recreated the feeling of this game, you know, with modern technology. Yeah. But it's just a fun brawler. Like I've said in chats we've had in other groups that I've never really vibed with, I think, 2D brawlers. Because
2D brawlers,
I was just never brought up with them. And I feel like the ones like River City Girls, the ones that people like laud, or like hold in high regard today are like River City Girls and Streets of Rage 4. And I just never clicked with them. This one I clicked with like immediately, maybe because it's slightly less complex. But it's also just like it's got a really good pace. The levels are kind of short. I think the longest level took me 10 minutes, and on average it was like 6 to 7 minutes per level.
Sure.
So yeah, it's quick. Like you just blitz through them, and each one ends with a boss fight that's kind of fun. So it's cool. And there's depth to the fighting. Like you have one button to do attacks, but then you have a 2-button press that does like an air launcher. You've got air attacks. You've got attacks that only engage when you do a double jump. You got special attacks. And then as you progress with a certain character, you start leveling them up. So you unlock aerial special attacks, or you unlock more health for them, or things like that. So it benefits to play with one player, but at the same time, every time I died, which wasn't that frequent, but it would be like every 3 or 4 levels I'd just like die, I would change characters immediately just to kind of see
get a feel
who
for
was
them.
there.
Yeah,
exactly. And they play all quite remarkably, like quite differently. They each have they have 3 stats: range, speed, and power. And I find range and speed were the ones that were most noticeable. Like April O'Neil doesn't have a lot of power behind her attacks, but her speed is like one of the highest. So she can put chains together so quickly. Yeah. Whereas someone like Donatello has a lot of range because of his stick, but his speed is very, very slow. Low. But you can offset that, but like by hitting foot soldiers from way further away than April can. So it's really, really cool in that regard. I think swapping between them actually changed the game slightly. And then at the end of the game, I unlocked Casey Jones, and I played a few levels with him, and he was real fun to play with as well.
Nice.
So it's a good game. I think the boss fights are a bit chaotic for like, you're in small arenas, and they've got like attack chains, but there's like very little space for you to kind of maneuver, and the dodge feels a bit weird. So I'm not the biggest fan of like all of the boss fights. Some of them are really good. I'm also not a fan of the 2 levels where you're on like hover bikes, where it's like you're moving through they just feel bad. I just do not like them at all. So, but other than that, the game's really good. It's on Game Pass as well. So it's like, if you're on Game Pass, at least it doesn't cost you anything to give it a go. And I think I spent like a whole afternoon with it, and I had a fucking great time.
I think even if you don't have Game Pass, I'm pretty sure the game's super cheap.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's like $20
it's $20 or $30, yeah.
Yeah,
so.
It's really... Oh, and I know last week I wasn't sure, but it absolutely does have online.
It does it? Okay.
Yeah, it does.
Nice.
You can play up to 6 people online. I've watched a stream of people playing, with 6 characters. That looks like chaos. It looks like
so much.
Just so much happening on the screen at once. But I mean, yeah.
So if you're playing alone, you've got X amounts of enemies. Does the number of enemies ramp up based on how many players are, or do they have more health? Like, I don't know how they balance
based that. On what I saw, it didn't look like they had more enemies, because that would make it even crazier.
Oh my God.
I do know that when they were playing with 6, they mentioned that it felt easy because like they were just steamrolling through people. So maybe it doesn't adapt. But I think playing with co-op would be quite fun, actually, even if you're just playing with 2 people, because like there are moves that you can do in co-op that you can't do in single player. Like if I go down in single player, I lose a life. And then, if I lose my lives, I have to restart that level. With co-op, you can actually revive your buddy if he goes down. So there's that. You can also do like a high five thing that increases your buddy's
of course
health, which I can't do in single player. So you miss out on that. I actually do think single player is quite challenging at times. I played on there's 3 difficulties. I played on medium, and I died a handful of times, but I had to be quite savvy with my combos. I couldn't just mash. No, I couldn't. Well, at least I felt like I couldn't. So but yeah, it's a great game. I think if you ever want to stream it, I'll be there. I'm down to play.
I definitely want to.
It's a fun time.
Except I've got Monster Hunter staring me in the face right now.
Yes, let's move on to what you've been busy with this week.
Let's start with Mario Strikers Battle League, because that...
Okay, cool.
I've actually, quote unquote, finished the game.
Oh, okay.
Hold up, let me just get some footage here. Just
check out that football field though. Let's just admire the artistry on there.
It's a tip of the hat to the art style of this game. It is really pretty. I think it's particularly when you do like your Super Strike, it's got that signature, almost like a comic book frame by frame style. Yeah, here's my boy. What is
Mario wearing? It looks like he's about to play like some fucking blood sport as opposed to like football. Like,
Mario Strikers, is part football, part blood sport. Okay, if I'm being honest.
Wow.
So I didn't have footage for you to look at last week. You're just going to watch here while I speak rubbish and just watch the actual chaos that happens here. So if you missed, I gave just a little bit of an introduction last week because I'd spent some time with the game. But if you missed it yet, Mario Strikers is a 4v4 football game. But of course, it's not just football. It's got Mario flair in that you're not just passing the ball and shooting and kicking. You do get special abilities and you do get items very much a la Mario Kart. You can, at any point in the game, some blocks appear in the field and you could get a banana peel, a green shell, a red shell. Which
I see random mystery blocks are being thrown onto the field right now. Okay.
So yeah, that's just the gameplay in a nutshell. Where the depth comes in is that, items aside, you're not just pushing a pass button or a tackle button. You do have charge meters. So if you are watching the video feed, you'll notice when I don't have the ball, there's a little bar that'll charge up. That's me charging up a tackle.
Yeah, and it's two little arrows.
Yeah, and the same applies to when you shoot. You've got a little ring that fills, and if you get it full, you get a power shot. And this ties into something I never spoke about last week, the game's stats. So each character has, I think it's a breakdown of 5 stats, and I'm probably butchering them, but it's along the lines of strength, speed, technique, that sort of thing. So the way it works is that if you are a strong character like Donkey Kong, you will only get tackled if somebody fully charges a slide tackle. So I've had it before where I'm playing as somebody little like Toad. He doesn't have a lot of strength. You just tap the tackle button, you'll bounce off Donkey Kong and he just carries on running. But obviously the trade-off there is that, Donkey Kong maybe isn't as quick. So, yeah. It's fun in that regard.
Rosalina just kicked the fucking ball into space here. What's going on?
Yeah, you're watching. So every now and then in games, you'll see an orange orb drop, and whichever team picks it up has an opportunity to do like a power strike. So if you're watching the video feed, the AI got the strike there, but I was able to.
You saved it. Those are so full of flair. There's a lot of great visual work going on here.
So
my goodness.
Look at my boy Luigi. So good. Look, the super shots are really cool, but it's annoying that you can't skip them because, at any point in a game, you'll see a bunch of them and they are fun to watch. But when you watch them like the 10th time in a game, it's just like, let me just skip it.
Fair enough.
Look, the game is fun. There's definitely depth here. If you want to play with alone or with friends, unfortunately, I never got to test online. I still need to go do that. But the content feels very light. So like I said last week, there's no sort of, there's a cup system where you can just play your way through 6 cups, I think it is. But there's that's it. Like that's the extent of the single player content. And that can be done in, I'd say like 3-ish hours, if give or take a little bit more. And then the way they extend the gameplay is like I won the championship, and then it said, okay, cool, you've won it. You roll credits. Now you've unlocked the same cups, but like there's a harder difficulty. So there's incentive to play on that front. But the base cup was super easy. I mean, the game you're watching now, this is the hardest cup, which means it should be the hardest teams.
And it doesn't really look like you're sweating.
No. I mean, now I'm up 2-0. I've had games leading up to this where I won like 10-0, 12-0. Like really just steamrolled over the AR. Not to say the AR is bad. It's just I think you can almost
it's tuned for that ease.
Yeah, but you can almost like exploit it where. I figured out. So if I got like that orange globe, right, that lets me. When you score a goal, that orange globe, it counts as 2 goals, not 1.
Interesting.
Which I find weird because it feels extra. You could just make it count as a goal because it's almost like a guaranteed goal. But like for example, I could get a mushroom for speed, and as long as I'm on the enemy half, I can charge up my power attack, and then 9 out of 10 times score a goal. Not only that, when you, super shots aside, if you learn the game enough, you can get relatively close and you just learn how to aim with the stick that you like. Here's a good curve goal. That's just me aiming up with the stick. And it was a powerful shot as alone. And it's like a guaranteed goal because this Peach, she's got high technique. So her curve shots are like really good. So on that front, it's a bit, I think if you're playing single player, it feels very light in content. Like, no doubt you'll get some fun from the championships. Like I enjoyed them, but it felt a bit lacking. Like if I compare it to Mario Golf, for example, Mario Golf at least dressed up the campaign with, there's a story here. You've got to go through some things. You've got some upgrades to get that sort of thing. Which that's literally you just play through some champions. And then, but I mentioned, I know Mario Golf there was gear, right? And you do get the same year. So you were saying like, why does Luigi look like he's
ready for war here? Yeah.
Some blood sports. So you get pieces of gear that you can buy. So you finish cups, you get money. You can use that money to buy gear for your characters, which up these stats I mentioned. So you can up your speed, your strength, whatever. But I found it a bit strange that it's not strange. It's just it's an interesting design choice where if I put on a specific helmet, for example, it'll put up my speed by 2 points, but then it'll also decrease my strength by 2 points. So it doesn't really you can tailor your characters to be good at a stat or two stats, but you're not buffing them in any way, really. You're not like, I've put this hat on now, I've got +1 speed. It always comes with a trade-off of, okay, you're upping this, but you're losing somewhere else. So I guess on that front, like you could look at it in several ways. You can sit and tally your team to whatever you want, but it felt strange to, be penalized for putting on gear. I don't know. It just felt weird to me. Yeah, but all that said, look, it's a fun game, but it's light on content. It really feels like the cup the cup features just like a tacked on afterthoughts. Like they got the mechanics down, they got the animations down, and then it's
like,
well,
we need a way to
we need to dress this up somehow.
Yes.
Like, so for example, if you're watching the video feed, you'll see that both halves of the field look different, right? So it lets you choose what half you want. It does nothing in the game. It's purely aesthetic.
Yeah, you've got like a very Bowser.
I've got like a
Bowser thing.
Yeah, it feels like they could have had something, maybe environmental things to just further vary the gameplay. But yeah, that's just my thought, but I don't know.
Do you know what this reminds me of so much? Like everything you've kind of said about it and how it plays. And did you ever play, this was quite a while ago now, probably like 15, 18 years ago now, but they made a Harry Potter Quidditch game. It reminds me so much of that.
I did not play that.
It's very arcade-like in nature. You've got these power shots that have these like animations that you can't skip. And some teams, like I remember it was one of the like Nordic teams that you could play as their special shot counted for 3 goals, and it was like more than any other team in the game. It was ridiculous.
Sure.
And it was also like you had to balance like tackling things and power shots and this and that. Just watching this gameplay, it's like reminded my brain that game existed. So and I love that game.
Look, mechanically the game is a lot of fun. Like I'd love to play this with multiplayer with other people, and it is fun against AI. Like it feels good to pass the ball around and get a good curve shot in, or to like land a really good tackle, or to run through enemies, and then you've got a dodge button. If you dodge a tackle at the right time, you'll get a little burst of speed. Like mechanically speaking, it feels they've got that down. It is fun. There's a lot of thought put into that. It just feels like the rest of the game is honestly an afterthought. Like content wise, it just like I said, you'll finish it in 3 hours, and there's the harder difficulties now, which I'll probably play, but I don't know. It feels like it's just missing something on that front.
No, I can understand that.
I need to give the multiplayer a bash though, because I'm sure there's obviously legs on that front. If I can just play against people online, I'm sure it'll be a different game. Are you watching Peach's special goal here?
The goddamn animation in this is
the animation's great.
Really fucking
visually
good.
It's cool.
Like the whole like, so if you're not watching the video, like Peach just did a super shot, and the goalkeeper like is trying to withstand the shot, and like as he's withstanding it, there's like a crater forming in the ground. It's like some real Dragon Ball Z nonsense. It's so good.
It's great.
And I love that if you take like I've noticed, like if you take a big super shot and it's just on the edge, like there, like your goalkeeper like falls down and he's just grabbed the ball, and it looks really good.
It's good fun.
I'd be keen to play this. Like, I feel like this is something I'd maybe play online for like a month and have fun. And then, you're getting smashed in this game, by the way.
I'm getting smashed. Look at my boy Luigi. Don't worry.
His running animation for scoring is so good.
Goal.
He's like,
here we go.
Football is live.
Here's my boy Luigi. Look, again.
Does he do the same thing, please?
Here we go.
Yeah. So good.
So that's a good example there, right, though, where I'm 3-0 down and you think, oh my God, like this, and there's just over a minute, so you think, oh, this game's in the bag, I'll never make a comeback. But I know the game enough that I can almost quote unquote exploit. So Luigi had a star there, which means he's untouchable. So I put it on, I just ran up to the box, I took a shot and I scored. Like,
because he couldn't be tackled.
There's nothing you can do about that. Yeah. And again,
that seems a bit silly.
Right, here's
oh, Mario. You've got another star, yeah, I see.
But yeah,
your shot got blocked there, yeah.
No,
I can see what you mean. He ran from the other end of the field, completely unrivaled.
That was a mushroom. I didn't use a star yet. Oh, that's a bad tackle. So I think I do, before we bounce off, I think I do it here where I use the star. Oh, yeah, look, I get the power.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, I get tackled. There is one moment where I get the power up and I use the star. It is here because it's 3-1. I ended up winning this game. Jack, I've got the power up. I've got the star.
You ended up winning this game and you got 15 seconds to come back 2 goals.
So it's 3. Yeah, because these power shots counts as 2 goals.
Oh, damn. It's another Peach one. I was hoping it would be a different character showing off the really cool shot. This Peach one is interesting, though, because you blocked the previous one, but because it's Peach's, the goalkeeper just let the ball roll into the goal. Oh, my God.
So you probably missed it. There is a meter there that triggers whenever you do a power shot. If you get it perfect, so you have to hit it between 2 lines. If you get it perfectly, the keeper won't save it. If you just miss the line, there's a chance they can save it. Look at this. 8 seconds to go. You think I'm going to lose? Here's my boy Mario with the perfect.
Oh, look at that curve shot. Damn. Mario's just like, goal.
He does when you win a game. He says, Mario, number 1.
Good Lord. I'm sure they got Charles Martinet back in the booth.
I'm sure they did.
He had a great time doing it.
There we go. This is the last game in the championship.
The spikes on his boots they just look so dangerous.
Yeah, this is
like if he's slide tackling someone, he's killing them. Like I'm just going to say it.
Look, it's a fun game. Like I really enjoy the football side of it. It's a pity that it's light on the single player front. So I need to dip into the multiplayer, to maybe get more legs out of it.
I'm almost certain you'll dip into the multiplayer and you'll be like, holy shit, these people are smoking me.
Oh yeah, I have no doubts. This honestly makes me think of, the Blizzard formula of easy to learn, difficult to master. Like it's pretty easy to pick up, you know what to do, but I'm sure there are people who are so good at dodging and just min-maxing items, knowing when the Super Bowl's going to drop and that sort of thing.
I can definitely see that being the case. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so that's Mario Strikers.
Yes.
What else have you been busy with? I'll very
briefly touch on. Let me just find the right footage here. I played
live producing. It's an art.
It really is. My God, I need a third person to just be here.
Get Lupin in on that action. Just be like, Lupin, hit footage number 2 on Monster Hunter.
So let me just timestamp those. So yeah, I have. So let's just go back in time quickly, right? So
okay.
Last year, a Monster Hunter Rise launched on Switch. I think it was February. And I'd never played Monster Hunter before, and we struck up a deal with Nintendo to do some guide videos for them. So got the game, and obviously had to play a lot of the game because you can't write a guide about a game if you know nothing about it. Play the game, do a lot of research, end up falling in love with the game, putting 130, 140 hours.
Yeah, you put tons of hours into it.
I played this game, I finished it, and I just kept doing hunts because it's just good fun.
Yeah.
The game later came to PC. Oh, it came to PC in January this year, I think.
Yeah. Took a while. It was like a year. Yeah.
And I really wanted to play it again, but full price. I'm like, I'll wait for it to go and sell. And I know there's the Sunbreak expansion coming out in June, so I'll get it closer to the time. So hard cut to now. Monster Hunter is half price. I think it might still be on sale. I could be wrong, but it's like half, 50% off. And the Sunbreak expansion actually launches this week on Thursday or Friday, if I'm not mistaken. Unfortunately, though, you can't. If you know, in the case of people like me who's played on Switch, there's no way to transfer a save. There's no way to.
It's a real bummer that that's the case.
It's really sucks because it would make me so happy. I'd buy the game and the expansion and just be happy to dive straight into my old character. So I've got to replay the game, which I won't say unfortunately because Monster Hunter is just an absolutely great time. What they've done though, which I wasn't quite aware of, is that they give you gear. I don't know when this gear dropped, but they give new players an armor set and weapon to help them speed through the base game in preparation for the DLC. So
I've read you have to be a certain level of something before you can even play the DLC.
It's Monster Hunter rank 7, I think, which is just basically what you get to at the end of finishing the game. Okay. But what's nice is that normally you would start off with, I'm going to thumbsuck here, but say you start off with a weapon that does like, its base damage attack is 50, whatever. But I looked at my inventory, they'd given me armor sets, and it's called the Defender set, and it's like a slightly higher level weapon to help you fight through the base game, in a much quicker time. Where when I started the game as a newbie, hunts were taking me anywhere from like 20 to 14 minutes because still learning the game, weapons not doing much damage, getting murdered because I don't know the monsters. Now I'm doing hunts in 5 to 10 minutes each. So it's like significantly chopped off. How long it takes. But Monster Hunter on PC, don't get me wrong, the fact that it worked on Switch was actual sorcery. It loaded quick, it looked great. But on PC, this game is it's something else. It looks so smooth. And
just looking at this footage now, the way the combat flows with, the frame rate definitely helps the fluidity. It just looks so good. It looks like a different game.
And it almost feels a little bit different as well.
Yeah. I can see like you're able to pinpoint your placement a lot easier.
But also, I know the game much better now that I can actually get counters, and I know how to do specials now. It's Monster Hunter. It's one of those games where I was reminded now, starting it again this week. It front loads a lot of information, and it makes me wonder: had we not done those guides for Nintendo, if I would have gotten into it, because I probably would have been like, yeah, this is fun, but there's just so much to take, and there's too much depth here. I don't know, like maybe not for me. But the fact that I forced myself to play the game, I'm grateful because now I do know the fundamentals. And like Monster Hunter is not for everyone, definitely not. Yeah. But if you can get through, break through the skill ceiling and just get your head around the fundamentals, it is some of the best gameplay. It's just boss. You're fighting big monsters. It's like a boss rush game, if you want to call it that. Yeah. And it's just fun to sit and chip away at these huge monsters, alone and with friends. It's got
that good nature of like you fight monsters, come back, level up, go do it again.
It's got the loop.
The numbers go up.
You see, I want to build this weapon. I need to fight this monster, go loot this, and you do it. You get that weapon, and you do it all again for the next weapon. So I'm very excited for the expansion. I don't know if I'll finish the base game in time for Thursday or Friday, but I am speeding through it relatively quickly. Like I'm 4 or 5 hours in and I'm ready monster hunt. I can do level 4 village quests.
Oh wow, already, jeez.
Yeah, so I'm speeding through, and then you eventually get to a point where you start doing the hub quest, which is, almost you have to do it multiplayer because the hunt's a lot harder. So I'm like almost there already in a handful of hours, which is cool.
Nice. And then you've got people to play Sunbreak with as well.
Exactly. So I've got a bunch of friends who are on PC already. I know Brad is also picking up Monster Hunter to grind it out to get ready for the expansion. So
nice.
Yeah, it's a good time. Monster Hunter.
Nice.
Would recommend.
Sounds good. It looks really good on PC as well. So I think if I would really love to join, but that means I'd have to put Elden Ring on break again. And I'm just like, if I do that, I'm just never going to get back to it.
At the very least, like, I own it on Steam, so you own it on Steam. So you can always come to that.
But we can't play it at the same time.
Then. No, but I'm saying in a few months, if you want to dip in and just give it a bash, you 100%
I guess,
can.
That's also true. Yeah, that's also true. Nice. Cool. Glad that you're back on your Monster Hunter cocaine.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
It really is. It's addictive. It's a problem.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Okay, so is that it?
That's it.
Is that all the games? Should we move on then to game releases? Yes. Yeah, let me bring up that list. So we're looking at games releasing today, June 25th. Happy payday.
Huzzah.
Up until July 1st? It is July 1st. Wow. Can you believe it?
It's the month of Stray around the corner.
Hell yeah. Is there anything out on July 1st? There is one game. Oh, Formula 1 2022 is out on July 1st anyway. Okay, so throughout the week, we've got Disgaea 6 Complete Edition coming to PC, PS4, PS5, June 28th. DNF Duel, PC and PlayStation, June 28th. Escape Academy on PC coming June 28th as well. Phobia, Saint Denifa Hotel coming to PC and consoles, June 28th. MX versus ATV Legends, wow, they keep pumping these out, don't they? PC and consoles, June 28th. Big one for this week, Cuphead, The Delicious Last Course, or also Cuphead, the DLC, which is really cute, I think. Coming to PC, consoles, and Switch, June 30th. As you alluded to now, Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, PC and Switch, June 30th. Big one there. Outriders World Slayer, another big expansion for another live service game. PC, consoles, June 30th. The Galactic Junkers coming to PC, PlayStation, and Xbox, June 30th. And then the final game for the week, Formula 1 2022, July 1st for PC and consoles. Also has VR support, so that's cool.
I love how July is on this list. It's just the first two titles are not chronologically ordered.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, that's why I was a bit confused.
I was like, you missed one. I'm like, oh, it's July 5th.
Yeah, I don't understand why that's not. But yeah, that means we're in the month of Stray.
Oh boy.
We've also got like As Dusk Falls, which looks pretty cool.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Goodbye all the time on Switch.
Yeah. Those are big ones for the month.
I mean, the end of the year. My goodness. Splatoon 3 later this year.
Yeah. Getting in there.
Good Lord.
Should we bounce now to gaming news? It's been a bit of an up and down week.
Yep.
After not E3 happened. When was it? Last week or the week prior? I can't even remember anymore.
One of those things. What would you like to lead with?
I think there's only really one thing to lead with in light of events that happened yesterday, and that's if you're unaware, you should be aware by now. Roe vs. Wade, or Roe v. Wade, was overturned by the United States Supreme Court, which affects early Americans, yes. We're not an American podcast, but this is a big blow for civil rights for millions and millions of people. Essentially what it does is not allow, it basically removes the choice to have an abortion as a human right from millions of women around the United States, and means that states now, on a state-by-state basis, can choose to ban abortions outright, which is already happening. So, this had been rumored for months prior that this was going to happen because of some leak from the Supreme Court, but it happened. And now a lot of, at least in the sphere of gaming, a lot of game studios and publishers have come out to voice their support, for the right to choose, which I commend. I would say personally, I'm well behind people's right to choose. I don't think the government should be legally allowed to tell you what you can and cannot do to your body. But yeah, so firstly, it was a lot of Sony studios, which is kind of interesting because Sony Interactive Entertainment CEO Jim Ryan urged employees about a month ago when this started picking up steam to respect differences of opinion and there were lots of reports internally at Sony saying that Sony was barring any studios from actually saying anything. And the only one at the time that actually said something was Bungie, although they are not technically officially under Sony's purview yet. So
I don't think it's listed in this article. It might have been another one I read, but I think at the time or in the weeks leading after that email was sent, I think Insomniac sent a
yes,
it's like a 60-page document or something, being like WTF or something like that.
Yeah, I think Insomniac said that they had donated to like rights groups to fight this, but that they weren't allowed to disclose that.
Yeah.
But that also Sony was matching the donations, but Sony wasn't like outright saying that either.
Which is, I found so interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, just from Sony's side, we had Bend, Bungie, Guerrilla, Insomniac, Media Molecule, Naughty Dog, San Diego Studios, Santa Monica Studios, and Sucker Punch all voicing their support for the right to choose. Some studios have, gone further by saying that they will be changing their healthcare for their employees to supplement them with financial support, that if they need to go out of the states that they're currently in to get the medical attention that they need, that the studio will cover that, which is really cool, because I think that's a far easier way of supporting people than uprooting thousands of people's lives in a state that, currently bans it, or at least for the short term, help the people when they need it, rather than like, okay, in 5 years, we're going to move everyone to a different state where this is not illegal. So yeah, not all studios that are listed there have said that, but I know Bungie for certain is one that said that a month ago already. They were kind of setting the tone for that. And a lot of companies have said that, like Netflix have said that, Disney, a lot of companies are getting behind this idea that they will fund travel for employees that need it. Further on here, Activision, Microsoft, Ubisoft have also come out in support of the right to choose. Microsoft says they will do anything they can under the law to support employees in accessing critical healthcare. This support has been extended to include travel expense assistance for those and other lawful medical services where access to care is limited in availability in an employee's home geographic region. Activision basically said the same thing. EA... EA said the same thing, actually, promising travel benefits. Ubisoft, listen, when you get Ubisoft political, you've done something. You've opened a can of worms. I don't think Ubisoft is really... I mean, Ubisoft is a French company as well. They have studios in America. Well, most of their studios are in Canada. I mean, I think they only have like one or two in the States. So this affects them a bit less. But to at least, show support, still good. And then there were a bunch of other publishers. You had ArenaNet, Devolver Digital, Haven Studios, Heart Machine Games, Niantic, Team Meat, That's No Moon, stuff like that. So
That's No Moon.
Yeah,
it's been quite something seeing so many people come out. Well, it's game studios specifically.
I think it's good, but I think there is hesitancy as well from people being like, okay, well, brands need to put money and actions behind the words that they put out there. So it is good that a lot of studios are at least saying that they will support their employees, to get the help that they need if they need it. And I think that's really important. So yeah, I guess we'll see how this continues. Unsurprisingly, publishers that refuse to comment, Take-Two, and good old Gearbox Interactive, located in the great state of Texas, is going to ban abortions. Good old Randy Pitchford had fuck all to say about this yesterday. So, yeah. Take that as you will.
Take that as you will. Yeah. Interesting things going on in the States. It's wild.
It's abominable things happening in the States. In the space of 24 hours, they basically just like gave more rights to gun owners by letting them, conceal weapons in public, and then took rights away from women. So it's great. It's a great time. Great country.
Nice. Well, do you want to move on to other potentially lighter news?
Potentially lighter news. A Plague Tale Requiem got a October release date. They hosted, I think it was Focus Interactive hosted an event this week, like a late E3 thing. Focus Entertainment, sorry. And there was like 10 minutes of gameplay. It shows the return of the two siblings at the heart of the first game, Amicia and Hugo. It's coming out on October 18th.
Is it 18?
October 18th, yeah. And it's also only new consoles. So PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. Which is cool because, that game looks pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I'm wondering, like, at what point, we're going to start seeing just this happen where games come out only for current gen. I mean, we've beaten this topic to death, but the fact that COVID just delayed console production, it's been interesting to watch. But I do wonder at what point do we just make the jump to current gen and leave the others behind. No,
I do wonder if it's now, especially for smaller publishers and smaller studios, it's becoming a cost thing. It's like it will cost us X amount to dev or to optimize for the older consoles.
Exactly.
As well.
It's a balancing act, because then it's a thing of it'll cost us X amount to do this for the older consoles, but there's a bigger install base.
Exactly. Or do we invest money in the, maybe pushing our whatever tech we have, whatever tech stack we have to work with the newer consoles and make use of them?
Yeah.
Do we go all in on that? So I do think it's a cost benefit balancing act. So yeah, I'm very keen for this game. I've said multiple times that A Plague Tale was a really good game.
Yeah, and you played it just this year, I think.
Yeah, very recently. It was like earlier this year in January. So I played Innocence, which was like the Xbox Series X like upgrade for that game. It looked good. The stealth sequences are really fun. Yeah, it's a very good looking game, and it's got a really moving story. I think Amicia and Hugo are just a really good pairing. There's a lot of parallels to like The Last of Us. It gets a bit silly at the end, I think, but it ends off in a good way, and I'm very keen to see where they go from here. So yeah, very, very keen for this game.
Nice. Cool. So that's coming.
October 18th. What do you want to go with next?
Let's just do this one quickly because it made me laugh. A piece of Lego can now play Doom.
That's great.
If you don't know, it's almost like, it's not a meme, but it's an internet thing where the joke is, anything and everything can run Doom, which has resulted in Doom being played on like literally everything from, so this article says, cars, on fridges, and even a tiny LCD screen shoved inside a pregnancy test.
I think there was a pregnancy test that had like an LCD screen play Doom. Yeah.
So Doom's playable on everything, including this little
Lego brick. It's a tiny, tiny little Lego brick with like an LCD panel on it. So I'm really curious to see how they got that.
Playing Doom is a bit of a stretch because it's not like a full color Doom, but it's like it's almost.
But it's got the
Doom.
source code running. It's got that. It's got the source code for Doom running. So.
Which is
just amazing.
It just makes me laugh that somebody thought, I can do this.
Where will the limit be for Doom? Where will it be?
What's interesting is that I remember writing articles about this for Lazy Gamer back in the day. Like, somebody's put Doom on a fridge. Somebody's put Doom on, and that was years ago. And people are just still making Doom.
Maybe it's happened, but I mean, with the way that we can control LEDs on like RGB fans.
Oh my gosh, one of those.
Yeah,
fans.
exactly. What if we get like an array of 9 RGB fans and you connect it and like sync it up as a display and get Doom running on RGB fans?
If somebody hasn't done it already, I'm sure somebody will.
I bet that will happen one day. If it hasn't happened already, I haven't maybe looked into it enough. But I'm sure if you can get it running on this little piece of Lego, that's not impossible to get it running.
So this article says the LCD screen offers a 72 by 40 resolution.
Damn.
Just enough to make out what's going on, sort of.
It's like 0.4K.
It really is. Sure, that's insane. I just love that somebody went and did this. How cool. They plug they're like slots in the piece of Lego and it goes on like a screen.
That's so sick.
It's amazing.
I love that.
Good Lord.
So cool.
What else?
Let's see. Quick update on Into the Breach in case you haven't.
Bam.
So Into the Breach, I haven't played Into the Breach in a while now, but I mean, it was one of those games that was it's just incredible. So it's developed by Subset Games, the people who created FTL, also another great game. And the way I like describing it is like it's chess with kaijus.
It's 5D
with
chess.
Big mechs and monsters. Yeah. I mean, it is like I think it's an 8x8 board and it's turn-based action and it's a roguelike. And it's very tactical, like extremely tactical. You have to take into account like the turn orders of each monster. You have to take into account like, okay, if my turn goes here and I hit a monster there onto that tile, then that monster's turn is going to interact with this other monster. Like it's extremely tactical and so rewarding. You can like literally look at a turn for like half an hour, like picking apart all the different like permutations
like
of a move
chess.
you can. It's so good. It's really, really good. So the big news here is that there's an advanced edition coming out, an update for all platforms that will release on 19th of July, and that's going to add like new levels, it says here new squads, weapons, and plots. And pilots, sorry. Enemies, environments, bases, missions. So just a bunch of new content. It's all going to be free. There's also a new difficulty mode, so that's great.
Nice.
It's also coming to mobile for the first time under Netflix's program. So if you have a Netflix subscription, you'll be able to download it.
Nice.
And I think this game on mobile it's going to ruin me again. The fact that if I can play like a match everywhere I am is just ridiculous. So
how long is I mean, I know you can spend hours looking at a turn, but
yeah, I mean, it depends on the game. It is, each run, it's a roguelike. So, and the runs have like knock-on effects onto each other. So, well, each level does. So like you have an overall like energy stat thing that if they damage like human buildings in a level, it brings down that stat. And that stat is persistent from level to level. Okay. So you can't just like fuck up one level super badly and then reset the next level. It's like that is the life of your run, so to speak.
Okay.
Yeah. It's really good.
Cool. So that's coming. Should we talk about Bungie suing a perpetrator behind fake Destiny 2 DMCA takedowns for $7.7 million hairs?
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of nuts.
It's a lot of money. Yeah. So the TLDR on this is that earlier this year, a number of top Destiny 2 YouTubers and even Bungie itself were struck with fake DMCA takedowns from an unknown user. So DMCA takedown is like a violation of copyright takedown that you can get YouTube to enact. This is a whole other broader argument on how easy it is for people to do this. And if YouTube enacts some strikes, like it can take a video down and in some cases completely wipe a channel from existence if done correctly. So the fact that this is all automated is real fucked up. But that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
But essentially, this was done by someone that was not Bungie, and it affected both Bungie and some top Destiny 2 YouTubers. And so Bungie at the time threatened legal action against the perpetrator, and now they're following through. So it says here from the lawsuit, Bungie is entitled to damages and injunction relief, including enhanced statutory charges of $150,000 for each of the works implicated in the fraudulent takedown notice that willfully infringed Bungie's registered copyrights, totaling $7.65 million.
If you're just a random person, how do you fit this bill?
I know, you're fucked. Like, I mean, it's no different to. I guess there are some arguments to be made for the way Nintendo went after a recent person who was putting, old games up on websites, ROMs and stuff like that. And they won a court case against him for millions, and it completely ruined his life. And there's something to be said there about the preservation of games and the availability that Nintendo has allowed customers to keep their games going, and and how maybe skewed that lawsuit is. But this is straight up like no one wins from this situation, from these DMC takedowns. So I think Bungie's well within their rights doing this. So, yeah.
A new From Software game is in its final stages of development. Elden Ring updates coming.
Elden Ring 2, let's go.
My goodness. Elden Ring DLC. I listened to the Kind of Funny prediction podcast like after, not E3. And I think Andy predicted that we would get a tease for Elden Ring DLC. And I was like, oh my God, like it's way too soon. It's like 3 months after the game launched. Like
way too soon.
Yeah, I think
if I'm not mistaken, I think the teasers for DLC in previous games came like a year after release.
It feels way too quick.
No, that's way too soon.
So what are they working on here? What are these dudes posting next?
I don't know. So essentially, this came from like an interview with Miyazaki, and also just some job postings on the websites. Apparently, they're working on like 2 different projects right now. But based on this interview, which was translated, so things can get wonky there. The studio's latest project is kind of like nearing completion. So my guess, because they've done it before, is that it's something to do with PSVR 2, because they did a PSVR game, and with PSVR 2 being probably months away at this point from launching, maybe early next year, I wouldn't be shocked if it's something for that. Who the fuck knows? Maybe this is their current gen version of Bloodborne.
Yeah. I love it. It says in the interview, Miyazaki also indicates that he's in the process of directing his next game and that he wants to tackle a more abstract approach to fantasy. Like,
how much more abstract can you get, my dude? My goodness.
We have actual spider hands in Elden Ring.
Like, literally, like
actual.
I mean, that's cool. If he thinks he can get more abstract, that's rad. Like, all the power to him. I'm down for that. There was also that leak much, much earlier this year that From Software were working on a new Armored Core entry. So I wonder if this is that.
Maybe.
Yeah, interesting.
There was a time before Demon Souls and Dark Souls and Bloodborne and Elden Ring.
I was never into Armored Core, so I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, I want to see
to know what a modern Armored Core is. Yeah. I remember trying those games on PS1 and never fully understanding what the fuck was going on. But yeah, so
it's crazy. And then last piece of news, you're not ready for this. Chris Pratt warns his Mario voice is unlike anything you've heard.
Props to Polygon for this title though, like warns that his Mario voice is unlike anything you've ever heard. So this comes from a quote with Variety where Chris Pratt says, I worked really closely with the directors and trying out a few things and landed on something that I'm really proud of and can't wait for people to see and hear.
This movie is still a huge question mark for me. I need to see it to believe it.
Yeah, you know what? It would be not a big question mark if it was like just a normal animated Mario movie. But the fact that they've gone and like, not got Charles Martinet as Mario, it just makes no fucking sense to me.
It makes no sense. It makes me think of, is this going to be kind of like the Sonic movie where Sonic is just a fully voiced normal person living in this world? Like, I don't know, is Mario just going to be that with an Italian accent or not?
Oh, good Lord. Yeah, I don't know. Listen, those Sonic movies are good, but they somehow found a way to be like goofy in a real world setting. This is all animated, so it could still go like crazy, but yeah, I don't know.
Guess we'll see.
See.
That is all of the news for this week.
Huzzah. That means we are moving on to questions. If you'd like to send us in a question, you can email us checkpointchatpodcast@gmail.com. You can message us on all of our social platforms at Checkpoint Chat. We look through the questions, we curate ones we want to answer, and we answer them. Do we have any we wanted to answer this week?
We have no questions this week.
Damn. Okay. Well, I will question my sanity in that whole preamble. And
I was going to cut you off and I just let you go.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I was like,
if you want to send us questions for next week, now you know where to do it.
Now you know.
Yeah, listen, it's been a slow week. I mean, all of the questions we got previous weeks were like, to do with E3 and all the big announcements there. I think we're all coming down from that like high of all the things happening.
All
so that's cool.
good. Oops, I need to go to
all
chatting.
Good. But I guess that means that's been episode 190 of Checkpoint Chat.
A little bit shorter this week, but that's fine.
A little bit shorter. But I mean, there was less news. There was no questions. But I think next week, I'm going to have thoughts on Vroom Vroom. I'm going to have thoughts on swords clashing sound. I don't know how to make that sound with my mouth. So ka-ching, ka-ching. No, that's money. Swing. Yeah. You'll have equally swing noises to make with Monster Hunters.
I'll maybe have some Sonic news.
Anime swing noises with your samurai sword.
God, I love Monster Hunter.
It is so very good.
Too good.
Just watching that footage of you doing the whole like sheathe your sword to do a big attack reminded me how fucking great that game is.
Also, because I'm restarting the game, it's a thing of, do I want to learn another weapon? Or I just keep thinking, the longsword is life. Like, come
that
on.
longsword is so good. It's
great.
so much fun.
Yeah.
Cool. That's been episode 190. Thank you again so much for listening. We appreciate you as always. And we'll see you next time on Checkpoint Chat. Have a fabulous week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.